Thank you very much. Proud to be here at this wonderful Milken Conference and proud to introduce a great man and a great friend. Just a little background. About 2.5 years ago, Carlos Slim has this big conference in Mexico City in which he gives out scholarships. And they called and asked me to be a speaker, the keynote speaker, and I went down and they said I was limited to 20 minutes, which to me is like phoning it in. So they extended my time. We became friends. He came to the house. We had dinner. He did my show. And then finally we formed Aura TV, which is now on the internet. We're distributed by Hulu. We started in July. We've done over 170 interviews already. We're increasing every week. So he is my partner. He was poor. He needed help. So I brought him in. He is an incredible man, and we're going to be here for an hour, and we hope you enjoy it. When you see the billing, it says richest man in the world. How does that make you feel?
Good afternoon to all.
Good afternoon.
No,
How do you feel?
no, nothing.
Nothing?
No?
Are you going to leave me like this, hanging?
What do you want me to say? That I feel?
Do you have a special feeling?
No.
Really?
Really?
You don't feel a sense of accomplishment?
A sense of?
Accomplishment.
No, I think the accomplishment is not economic, usually.
So you don't feel that sense?
No.
So what motivates you? If not to be known as the richest man, to see the front cover of Forbes magazine, that's not what motivates you. What does motivate you?
Well, I think that most of us have some vocation. Many have multiple vocations. We are interested in many things, curiosity for everything. And I think the most important issue is love for life. When you love life, you have love for many things. And if you have a vocation for numbers, others have vocation for letters. And when you have vocation for numbers, you have many activities where you are going to develop yourself professionally. And that's why I study engineering. And I like investments, I like business, I like to work in the creation of investments, and economic activity is also very important that comes with the investments. And I think the realization of different projects and being in the economy, being in the market is interesting. And
was your goal to make money?
No, I think that the one that has like a goal.
Not your goal.
No, I think that's why there are so much financial rambos, gamblers, gambling, trying to bet to win a lot of money. That's a kind of gambling more than other thing. When they want to win only.
Do you have more passion for one business over another? Is they interested in more in one thing than another thing? Because you're in so many things.
Yes. Not especially, but what you do or what I do is when there is something, a problem in some area, on some project to be developed, or some important investments to be done, I have a very interest to focus in these issues. No, where is something that should be better, when there is something that is a problem, or when there is something new that you need to create a strategy to execute.
What was your first business?
My first business, first. I think collecting stamps.
Collecting what?
Stamps for albums, and changing with other classmates when I was in basic education.
Did you make money from this?
No, but I make albums.
How, when you're into so many things, how do you keep track of everything? I mean, you're in retail, you're
Yes.
in you're in merchandising, you're in the internet, you're in television, you're in mines. How do you keep track of it all?
Well, in business and enterprise, there are many profiles. The profile of the executive, that he's in charge of the daily operation, the operation of the company. The investors that only invest in one or many business and just take care about dividends maybe and financial statements every 3 months, I don't know. And the entrepreneur, no? The businessman that is looking for different areas. And my training was since the beginning to get interest in many things and curiosity in many things. And that's what made me to be interested in many economic areas.
So you don't have one thing over another?
No.
All right, you drive your own car? I've been with you. You live in the same house for 40 years? You're a humble man.
That's to drive your own car is not humble. It's just that you have a car.
What keeps you grounded? In other words, there are a lot
I
of
think the question is why some people don't get grounded.
Right.
The regular thing, the basic issue is to be grounded. The people that levitate or fly away is the irregularity, not to be in the ground.
So you don't think about things like that?
No, I think that most of the people in the world is in the ground.
What about security? You have a lot of security?
By some reasons of that we have, we use security, but it's important that I have never had any problem of insecurity in my life.
Never?
Till now, never.
You ever worry about it?
You're worried that I never have insecurity?
No. Do we read about problems in Mexico. Do you ever worry about
Well,
your physical living?
Well, we are having difficult times with the crime and drugs, but they are in his business. They are mostly fighting sometimes with the police and between them.
But you don't think it affects you at all?
Not until now.
It's
like I suppose was here in Chicago with or in other cities with the dry law, that the violence was not against the society or against the people, was between them, the police, and...
You don't worry about it?
No. Well, we worry that the U.S. sell the arms to the crime, no? There is a war. Here stay the drugs and the dollars, and they stay the violence and the arms in Mexico.
All right.
In Colombia.
Your gift, do you think it's a gift, the ability to just do business well? I mean, you succeeded in so many things. You think you were born with that?
I think always it's a combination of genetics or born, like sports or like any activity. You have the combination of born with that, and education and training and work, etc., experience, circumstances.
You have but you love business, right? You don't? You love business.
I love to invest and to create economic activity.
And you could read a balance sheet.
Well, yeah.
You think you were lucky?
Oh, actually, I learned not until I was in the 20s. I don't understand why in one side was the same of the other in the balance.
Why did it have to match?
Yes, until I understand that one thing, what is what you have, what are your debts, and the difference is what is yours. It's only arithmetic.
Simple.
Simple, very simple.
Yeah. Anyone could do this. Your parents are Lebanese, right?
My mother born in Mexico, and my father arrived to Mexico when he was 14 years old.
Do you feel any ties to Lebanon?
Excuse me?
Do you feel any ties to Lebanon?
Chais? What's chais?
You know, do you feel close to, do you go to Lebanon?
Well, these are my roots, and I respect and I have admiration for what they have done historically. The Phoenicians make a lot of changes in the world. Were very influential in the Western world 30 centuries ago, and I am clear of what they have done and what is the history of Lebanon, but also the history of Mexico. That is very rich also.
How important, Carlos, was your father?
A lot. Too much.
Too much?
Well,
He instilled values in you?
sure. Most of them. Because when you are very young, is when you learn most of the things.
What was your first job?
My first job was with my father.
You worked for him?
Yes.
What business?
Yes.
What kind of business?
Well, in commerce. Actually, he sent me to look the competence which prices used to have. And I feel like a spy because it was just after the Second War, looking the prices of the competence and going to the store, and after that to have some register.
How did no one's successful at do you consider yourself lucky?
Excuse me,
You think you had luck?
Luck in business or luck in life? Luck in life, I think so.
What about luck in business?
Also.
I mean, you
I think the circumstances are very important.
You do?
Yes, the circumstances are important.
What was your first investment where you put money into something?
I think, well, I opened a checking account when I was like 11 or 12. And,
How old? 11?
Yes, something like that. 500 pesos. A bond, I bought a bond also. And then I think like 13, I bought some stocks of a bank.
You bought stock at 13?
Yes, something like 13 or 14.
Do you remember what the stock was?
Yes, a bank. My father used to have 1% of this bank, and I bought 30 stocks.
So, have you had failures?
Failures? Yes. No, what I say to my children, you need to have failures, but try to make small failures, small mistakes, also in business and in life, not to make big mistakes.
You learn from mistakes?
Always. And from the mistakes of the others, you need to learn also. It's more important to learn of other mistakes that make your mistakes to learn.
Let's discuss some current things. In an age now where everyone is worried about the newspaper business, and they say it's a fading business, you invested in the New York Times. Why?
Well, two reasons. First, newspapers are two things. Are news or contained in paper. Paper is a secondary thing. The important thing is the news and the content.
Right.
Doesn't matter. If it is in paper, the problem is that who is getting down is the paper, not the news, or not the content. And the content and news are going to other means, electronic means.
So you have faith in that? Well, the New York Times is...
Well, the New York Times was the leader in electronic news, but also was a financial investment.
Is that a healthy paper?
Excuse me?
New York Times, a healthy paper?
I think so. A healthy
I mean, it's in good shape.
Yes.
Well, you put a lot of money in.
So.
What? You put a lot of money in.
Well, was some bonds, some debt. They pay already the debt.
They paid you back already?
Yes.
It was pretty sharp. It was the interest, I guess, you got too.
It's very,
all right.
Very warm. This.
How do you look at the economy today? What's your overview of the world? This is a major conference, and economy is on everybody's mind.
The world economy?
Are you optimistic?
I think it's not a matter of optimism or pessimism. It's a matter of reality. I think we are living a new civilization with new paradigms. You need to have a new vision. And I think they are not doing the right things. I think that especially the Western world, looking for a policy of benefit for people, has chronic fiscal deficits, and they have done too much political and supposedly social benefits that were unsustainable. When 50 years ago, the age of retirement was 65, the average life was 60 maybe or 55, and now that the life expectancy is 85 or 90, they get down the pensions, and now if you put actuarially these figures, all of them are bankrupt because they have a big debt there. And I think they are doing a bad solution of the problems. They are using only political and fiscal policies that were used in the 20s, in the 30s, that don't work now. And in the past, for the underdeveloped countries, they use very strong fiscal policy. That means that the crisis was paid by the consumers with a decrease in the consumption. And in the developed countries was paid by the savers getting down the interest rates. Now they are affecting both, with negative interest and with the restriction in the economic policies, mainly in Europe. I think they are doing many mistakes. And the other thing is that in the old societies, the state were monolithic and were owned of everything. They maintain the same rules. I think that what should be done in Europe is to make structural changes that are very clear. I think that should be more easy to accepted by the population, that this great social and problem that they have with so high unemployment. When you look that some countries have 50-something% unemployment in the young people without hope, it's crazy. It's the worst news that you can have, that a country has more than 50% of his population.
What do you do about that, though?
I think you should do many things. First of all, you can't correct the public finance of a family or a country by increasing your income, your revenues, decreasing your expenses. That is what they are doing. But when you increase the revenues and decrease the expenses, you are making a stronger recession and dangerous recession, because you are taking more money from the people and giving less economic activity to the country. I think they should sell the assets. Why these countries should have highways? They can sell it for a lot of money. Why they have airports or water supply? Many assets that should be sold and managed by private.
You think the government should sell its assets to private industry?
That's one point. And the other is that the public investment that they are not doing because they have a big deficit, they should look that the privates can do that investment in public-private partnership or other kind of concession. There are many concessions, let's say, in highways to 20 years. Well, it is private during 20 years. It is built during 20 years. And every day is a asset for the government. In 20 years, it's 100% owned by the government. It's going back to the government, no? I think it's the best formula. And what is not acceptable is to have this high unemployment. That's one point. The other point, I think that people should work and retire older and work less hours since today, as he's young. I think the formula in Europe should be maybe to work 3 days, 11 hours, and have 4 days, and retire not at 60 or 65, but at 75. It's our average age, I think, no?
Work 3 days a week or 4 days a week.
3 days, 11 hours. and they will open the possibility that other young people or old people work the other 3 days. Now you need to have the machines working 24 hours and people working less. If you look what do the technology and the new society and the civilization since 7,000 years ago, is that technology increase productivity and make people work less. In the past, you need to have slaves and you need to have people working all the time to make it efficient. Now you need people to have time, to have money, to be part of the market, to be part of the economy that will refeed the development and growth of the countries. If you have 4 days today, instead of having all the days free when you are 65, it's better. You have it young, you have more people with activities, the quality of life is better. If you remember, we don't remember, but people used to work 72 hours, then go to 60, and then go to 48. Now they are working 35, I think, because it's 9 to 5 is 40 hours. Less coffee break and lunch, etc., 30-something. So you can work 3 days, 11 hours, and retire at 75.
And more people would work then.
More people will work, because you will open the space for that. And these people that is working 3 days and have 4 days free, they will get involved in more entertainment, more culture, traveling, tourism, and you will create more jobs around also.
That makes sense.
Thank you.
I understand. So how do you adopt that? Who does that?
What is the problem in, let's say, each country, Spain or any other country? In the last 5 years, they have the same wealth today that they have 5 years ago. They have the same income per capita. If they have problems, the gross national product fall down 2%, 1%, it's flat, 3%. That's the same that before. If it was 40,000 per capita, it's still 40,000. That's why the problems are because it's not good conduction. And as much as the technology has improved productivity, there need less people for the same thing, and there are many people that cannot find a job because of the increase in productivity. That means that all the society should work less hours and more time.
How important is the United States in all of this?
Very, very important. Very, very. And that's why everyone is supporting what is happening here, that there's a tough fiscal deficit, they grow in the debt, but if you put in the debt of the United States, the pension funds and the cost of health, it goes 5 times, 4 times what is now, no? There are astronomical figures, but nobody wants that U.S. has a recession.
But do you have faith in the United States economy?
Yes.
The American dollar?
Yes.
What do you think of Obama?
First, there is not other one.
What?
First, there is not other currency. By exception, there are the dollar. There are not an alternative for the dollar, no?
Right.
And second, I think there is a lot of potential to correct many of the problems in U.S. also. One of them is the age of retirement, no?
You like Obama? He's emphasizing education.
I don't get too much involved in what is happening outside.
Well, he's certainly put emphasis on education, which you are major for that, right?
I think education should be changed completely.
How?
With technology. Technology is a great tool for everything. To change education, the way that has been done is not the way to do that. If you think in education, we have the same way of education that is coming from military education 2,000 years ago and religious education. Is the way of education is like domestication sometimes, no? It's not showing the children how to think, how to research. It's memorizing many times instead of rationalization. It's the textbook instead of the context. It's the same studies for children in Manhattan and the same studies for children in the mountain or the agricultural area. That's not the way. And also, with the technology, you can make a big education. And mainly in the world, the education is basically academic. There are not a good education training the people for jobs, training the people to be a good smelter or a good for the restaurants, etc. I think it's very important to develop, and in the network should be done for training the people for the jobs that are available or that will be created in the future. Which works will be new in the future. But sure, information technology. At IT grows, there will be more people in this job.
You're a big believer in the internet, right?
Yes, and education.
And you've invested in it, as I know.
Yes.
It's tomorrow, right? It's the future.
It's yesterday.
It's yesterday.
Yes.
Do you know what's coming tomorrow?
Well, I first need to know what happened yesterday. It's clear. There are examples. The Khan Academy is a good example. The Coursera is other example. Khan Academy, there are 40 people, and in his network has passed millions of people learning in short courses of 10 or 15 minutes. And I understand that the number of exercise that has been done through the Khan Academy is more than 1 billion exercises. And there are only 40 people working on that. The platform is growing, and I think that that is a great way to go for a massive education. And what are the numbers and the concepts? First of all, the internet that you are talking now is getting very fast with broadband, that you can have data and video near instantly. That's very important. First, to give connectivity. That's one of the parts of the equation, to give connectivity. And the other part of the equation that is more important maybe, or as important as connectivity, is to give content and applications. And to have the courses or the training to make the people through the network be educated without any cost. It's free education. The Khan Academy is free education for everyone, everywhere, every time. That's the future. That's the past. That's today.
That should make you optimistic.
Sure.
It's going to be a better world.
Well, to be pessimistic takes you to mediocrity.
We always have mediocrity.
Yes.
All right. Some controversial area. You do not escape controversy.
But I don't matter.
Don't matter.
Not too much.
There's the Lifeline program. They want to cover this. This is a American government. The Lifeline program is a $2.2 billion phone subsidy for the poor. It'll subsidize monthly cell phone service, and carriers give away phones. And recipients can earn more than 135% of the federal poverty line, or approximately $23,550 a family. Now, the Arkansas Congressman Tim Griffin said that this proposal is not fair because the biggest beneficiary of this is you, because of your involvement with track phone. How do you respond to that?
Well, that's, I don't know which is his intention, and I don't know how much knowledge he has about that. The fund is $9.6 billion, it's not 2 point something. It's a fund that was created by President Reagan, many years ago, and the concept is to give connectivity and connect in the telecommunications to the people with low income and in marginality. Well, I think the important issue is what for is the project, not who is doing that. If it were AT&T or Verizon, was good or not was good? Who is the partner or what is the issue? There is some tendency and partiality, but let's analyze what is done. The money is not taxpayer. The money is coming from a fund that is paying by the people that use telecommunications monthly. And what should be evaluate is which is the use of this money. This money is not going for a company; it's going for the users, the consumers.
But your company benefits.
Well, as any company can benefit because they are a bigger market. That make increase the market. But at the end of the day, what it is, the money is for the consumers that are in rural areas and with low-income consumers. It's not for, it's one consumer, it's called cross subsidies. The people that has high income make some kind of apportation to be used for people without use. The question can be, should U.S. take all these kind of funds out and live without connectivity a big part of the population? That's the question.
Is there any place in the world that you would say this is a good country to invest in? Is there an emerging country that you see to put dollars into?
Well, I think one of the points we believe is that there is always good times and places to invest for the people to know how to invest and where and can do that, no? But I think in this situation, Latin America is a very good place to invest. I think many countries of Asia, Indonesia, is doing very well. I believe that in Latin America, many of our countries has $10,000 per capita, around that. That's Chile has 12, Mexico, Brazil, Colombia, and Argentina, and Uruguay. We have some kind of income per capita that if we can grow 5% the next 10 years or 15 years, we will break the barrier of underdeveloped. When you arrive to 15,000, you go ahead because you create middle classes, you increase the market, you make bigger the economy, and the economy is sustained and grow. We can see that in Asia, in Korea and many other countries, when they go to $15,000 or $14,000, they follow growing faster. We are seeing that in Spain and in Europe also 25 years ago. And most of these 5 countries, or 6, Uruguay, Argentina, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, 6 countries, are near to break the barrier of underdevelopment. I think that can be very important because when you break this and creating big middle classes, the economy grows faster.
What if war happens? What if we saw what happened in Boston? What if suddenly we have horror occur in the Middle East? What does this do to all the world economy?
What should be done that with the world economy?
What happens if?
I think to the people, to the young people, it's important to have a good education, to be a better option for jobs. I think that you need to have economic activity, investment to have economic activity, to offer to the young people not only hope but reality, that they can find a job that they like, that they can have a future working, and I think that's very important. And also some kind of policies that of the financial system that when someone is not paying, they take out from the property. They should look if the asset has the value. They should extend the time, because if someone cannot pay because has not a job, it's crazy to take out of home, no? That kind of things that have a big social claims and how you say in English, malestar, that you make people to lose his hope and to lose his house, and that you cannot make people to go to this kind of marginalization after being middle class, to take the revenue down. That's not fair. That's not a way to do that. And that's a big social and political issue.
An educated public, to children, not going to bomb things.
educate people, and also give them the opportunity to
Yeah.
to live.
All right, now you, philanthropy.
But we can go back to the issue of the fund of
Want to add something?
yes. There is we had worked with the FCC. They invite us. There used to be a few months ago, it was 8 months ago, something that we begin to talk about that. There's a project, Connect to Compete, that is doing by the U.S. government through the FCC, also without tax money, to make to connect most of the people. There are like 100 million people, 1/3, 30% of the population that has not connectivity, and they don't have a computer, they don't have the connection, and you need to make programs to connect them. And doesn't matter if the refurbished computers, that is $150, are done by some company, and that he will make money or not make money, or that the cable companies connect these people, and that they are supported with some program that charge $9.90 for mega. I think this is very important to do. You don't need to confuse the tools with the targets. The targets are to connect people. The targets are to communicate people. And the tool can be different. But if one people doesn't have a job or has a low income, the only way is subsidizing.
That makes sense. Philanthropy. How do you decide where to give your money?
In general, we don't give the money. What we try to do is to solve problems. Which are our targets? Which are our projects? And in this project, we put the money that is necessary to achieve the
So where, like in health?
It can be in health, in education. When we began many years ago, the foundation is from '86. It's 26 years, 27 years. And we have done different programs. And the concept that the development was begin with the nutrition of the mother pregnant. You need to begin in some place, no? The nutrition of the mother pregnant make that the children born with 15% more weight or something like that. That's very important, the nutrition of the mother pregnant. Then the attention with the child born to look for his health and get down child and mother maternity and maternal maternity, mortality, excuse me. And then the health of the boy and the nutrition of the boy the first 2 years. And early education, digital education, good health, and education. And we finished with education, digital education. We are talking about the connectivity and the need to subsidize this kind of people that have no taxes. There is not a good price for an unemployed or for a poor people, which can be the price of the tablets or computers to be connected if they don't have employment and they don't have an income, and which is also the cost that you can charge for the communication. So we developed the concept of digital libraries and digital classrooms. These public libraries, we put computers free, navigation free, and we lend them computers or laptops instead of books. Why was the libraries? Which is the origin of public libraries? To have an environment to read or study, and to have the books that you don't have. It's the same here. We have an environment for navigation, a training for the people, education for the people, and also to lend them computers. And like you cannot give computer to everyone because it should be too much money, we developed the concept of, that is very elemental, of copybook, digital copybook. What we are doing is give USBs, that is the copybook, the digital copybook, the regular USBs, nothing new. And this USB, you go to a public digital library, you connect, you charge whatever you like, and you have your USB with you. And when you have a computer lens or a tablet, you can navigate with that.
So you give the computers?
Yes, but not for the people, for the classrooms and for the libraries.
What about health? Aren't you involved in polio?
Yes.
In the world of polio?
Well, we are doing many things in health, and let's say we have many programs, many programs. One is surgeries. We make a association with the public health of the Mexico and the doctors, national surgery, and we go to the towns to make surgeries, eyes and orthopedic and reconstruction of leporine.
Cleft palate.
As we begin making 2,000 now, last year we made 170,000 surgeries. That's very important because you change life of people. Also in the schools, the children that cannot see, you gave them glasses to learn, no? Ver to aprender. And bicycles in rural areas are very important. Instead of taking 2 hours to go to the school, they make 20 minutes. And in health, we are studying many things in telemedicine. We are doing a big research with the Broad Institute about diabetes that is a epidemic already.
Eli Broad.
Diabetes with the Broad Institute with Eric Lander to find that, and kidney and cancer. And now we are doing that with polio with Gates, and we are doing also with him an initiative for Mesoamerica to eradicate some and to fight some things there.
Tell me, there's one other thing I want to cover because it's been in the news a lot, and that's with you and Mexico and the government. Are you a monopoly?
I am what?
Are you a monopoly?
What is monopoly? One.
Monopoly means
one. Mono is one.
One controls.
Mon. Sure not.
You're not.
Mon is one. Mono. Yes.
One.
But we are competing in Mexico now with in mobile with Telefónica de España. We are competing in most countries of Latin America with them. We compete with the TV companies. We compete with Nextel. In the past, our competitors were Telefónica, the biggest of Iberoamerica in those times, and Vodafone and Verizon. So that's competence. In telephony, in long distance, 97, we compete with AT&T and with MCI WorldCom, the biggest of the world and the second biggest of the world. That's competition. We're not competing with a smallest group. We're competing on those times with this. And now we are competing with these companies I am telling. Now, in fixed lines, we don't have license for convergence. We cannot sell pay TV. And the others have a regional monopoly. And there is Sky. It's a very big company giving pay TV.
Do you like competition?
Sure. Imagine that you are an athlete that runs 100 meters. You will run alone? Competition makes you better. You need to have competition and also the most important international reference for whatever you do. You need to have the highest reference to make you a good job. We are in 18 countries today, and we have competition everywhere. I don't think that there is now a telecommunication service in any place, I don't know North Korea, no, including North Korea, that there is no competition.
There's no monopoly.
That until I understand, there is competition everywhere. In Mexico, in US, we have 23 million customers. Some of them is the 2 or 3 doesn't like to this air. To Mr. I don't know the name.
You're interested. By the way, if you're ever in Mexico City, there is I had the honor.
Ask me about monopoly. There is not a monopoly that I know in the world now in telecommunications, but there is always something in everything that is bigger than the other. I don't know if I explained. Always in a competition, there is one that is bigger than other. Let's say here, I don't know who is bigger, AT&T or Verizon, but one of them is bigger than the other, or in any place. And there are some places where we were second in the market, and we have more than 50%, more than 60% of the market. That's real. And there are other countries where we have 15% of the market.
How much of the Mexican phone system do you have?
The phone system, you need to, if you put only the phone system, it should be 70-something in fixed lines. But fixed lines worldwide, all the companies have 80% market share of fixed lines because nobody wants fixed lines. I don't know if I explained. In all the countries, most of the countries of the world, in fixed line, there is not the interest to compete because the real competition against the fixed lines are the mobile lines. In US, I think from 65% penetration in fixed lines, 8 years ago, now it should be 35 penetration, less than 40% penetration. I don't know.
I want to cover some other bases, but if you're ever in Mexico City, his art museum is one of the great museums in the world. We had the honor of dedicating it that night. You began art through your wife, right?
Yes, yes.
She was the one that stemmed your interest.
No, I was the one who do that, and she get angry when say that she was, but she was the inspiration when I will say that since we get married, she was very sensible to art and was contagious.
You have one of the world's great art collections. Are you always buying art?
Regularly.
You look for new artists?
No.
Do you
well, we are not in contemporary art. We are in
classics.
All classics. Entonces, there is difficult to find a classic that has not passed away.
I'm fascinated when you have this kind of wealth. Do you know how much you're worth every day?
No. And what I know is that I will not take with me when I pass away.
No, nothing will go with you. But so you don't follow every day how much you gain and how much you lose, because you go up and down every day, don't you?
You check your rating every hour?
Well, Ted Turner told me once, it could be toothpicks. It's just...
What you take care in business is about how is going the company, how is doing the operation, how is working the team you have there, how is your market share doing, what is happening in the company and in the market, and the training and the attitude of people, because what makes it happen is the human capital, to have the best team doing the right things. That's in the companies. In the foundations, your targets are not market share or profitability, are the solution of the problems. And I think that a businessman, talking about the solution of social problems or public problems, or that, has a bigger vision of the things, is training to manage people, resources, and financial resources and material resources, and to have challenge constantly. And I think that a businessman can do with $1 what a politician can do with 2 or many.
So you have more faith in the business.
I think the businessmen are more efficient. And also, I think the discourse, the rhetoric is a big difference, no? It's better, the politician rhetoric. But to delivery, it's the private sector. The businessman need to delivery. You cannot make a company and develop a company just with the speeches. You need to have facts, realization, and delivery.
Do you have a favorite work of art?
A favorite
work of art?
Of many.
No one?
No. It's difficult. Many. A few. Many.
Well, you have The Thinker.
Yes.
Rodin. You have a lot of Rodin.
Yes.
Yeah. What's it like?
We're looking one that.
What's it like to be
years.
you?
Eh?
What's it like to be? You live a humble life, though, don't you? I mean, it's very interesting. No,
I will say natural life.
natural life.
I think common life. Well, it's your life with family and friends. Is that what?
Friends and family. You're very close. Your family, your sons and daughters.
Yes.
You have 3 sons and 3 daughters, right?
Yes.
They're all you're very family oriented, right?
Yes.
Family's important.
Very important.
Your sons are in your businesses, right?
Yes. But they decide that, eh?
You didn't force them in.
No. No, I told them that they decide because if they go by force, will be very bad for them and they will bankrupt the business.
Do you?
We say by force, neither the choose get in.
How did you keep them in check? You know, when they grew up with wealth, they grew up in prosperity. How did you keep a control on that?
Me too. Well, that you know that you can have things, but you don't need it to have them. I don't know if I explained. You know that you can have a car, but you don't need to have a car. That is not a aspiration to have things and things and things. Like a boy that wants one toy and then another toy and then another toy.
You don't collect toys.
Some kind of toys, yes.
All right. Is
Toys,
there
no.
any? What is your number one hobby?
No, I don't have a by numeration. You have many, and depending where are you, the circumstances, your humor,
Baseball's a hobby.
or baseball.
That we share. You love baseball.
Yes.
But you told me you would not buy a baseball team.
Why?
For fun.
No, for fun. I look the baseball and I follow the baseball, but for business, I get crazy with business, negotiating with the players and looking if they are doing well or bad or where. I don't know.
I know the Guggenheim people are here. They're part of the support of Milken. They bought the Dodgers for $2.1 billion.
Congratulations.
But
You love the Dodgers.
no, to me, if you're a baseball fan, you're a fan. You're a great Yankee fan, and you love the Yankees, and you know all statistics, and we've talked about this a lot. Why wouldn't you, with all the wealth you have, why wouldn't you want to own the Yankees? To own the Yankees?
But why you don't understand that?
What?
Why don't you understand that there is no
You
interest?
wouldn't get a kick out of that?
If you like the Torre Eiffel, you will buy the Torre Eiffel or what?
No, I mean,
Or make another one.
just for the fun of it.
The fun is to follow the Yankees, not to own the Yankees.
But the Yankees are profitable.
It doesn't matter to me. What I want is that they win, not that they are profitable.
So you never had a desire, even though a sports fan, to own a sports franchise.
Yes.
Is there anything you haven't done you want to do?
Many things.
Like?
Well, many things. Should I tell you what things on?
Isn't there one thing you'd like to do that you haven't? Because you can do anything you want, right?
No.
You
no,
can't?
No. No,
What
I can't.
can't you do?
No, well, the biggest thing that I should like and is my challenge is what I was telling that our countries break the barrier of underdevelopment. That's what I should like. To make that the things that we have in the foundation like targets work, the education of the people, the digital culture in Mexico and Latin America, the connectivity for everyone. There are many targets that I should like to make it happen.
I'm glad you like Aura TV.
Yes, sure. And
Well, it's important to me. Because it is.
sure. No, we were talking yesterday,
You're a wonderful partner.
and we admire, like most of the people in the world, your work and your person.
Well, I remember when one of the first times we met the chairman of the board of AT&T, and he told me, if you have a partnership with Carlos Slim, you have a friend for life. And you did a deal with him in a truck, right? You were in a car, right?
Yes, yes. And you were not going to go to the conference, you remember?
Yeah, I remember. I got offered to go to the Carlos Slim conference.
One day before you was...
One day before I had a cold, and I thought I couldn't go. And Kurt Rappaport, who's here today, he's a very well-known realtor here, we were in a car driving to San Diego, and he said to me, you're not going to go to the Carlos Slim conference? You ought to go.
Thank you.
Thank you a bunch. I'm glad I went. It's extraordinary knowing you. Do you? Whoa, this is important too, because we had the same surgery. How's your health?
Very well. Well, not so well. I think I need to get down 10 kilos, 20 pounds, like always. And that, I think, is my main problem. When 20 years ago, I have a valve problem. And they put me a valve 20 years ago. And then 5 years later, they changed the valve and they make me a aortic...
aortic valve? They gave you a new valve?
Yes, that's what... And they have a hemorrhage. That's why I was very sick 15 years ago. But they don't think that I was going to live 1 year or 5, but I am 15 years here.
You nearly died, right?
Excuse me?
You nearly died.
Yes, because I have a big hemorrhage.
But now you're in good health.
They put me 120 bags of blood.
Would you say, this is maybe trite, that you're a happy man?
Well, I think happy is not a way to be, but a way to go. No?
You want to be happy?
No. It's a way of living. It's a way of being and living, and I cannot explain very well. It's not a point. It's not that you arrive to one point and that you are happy. No, it's a way to do things, to live, to feel that make you happy.
It's a goal.
No, it's not a goal. It's a way. It's a direction. It's how you say? It's a way to live. The way that you live, if you live with loving your life, loving people, with having challenges in life, doing things, making things for others, and I think that's what is very feed you, your spirit and your heart.
I'd like to close with thank you to Carlos and to Michael Milken, and to suggest to Michael that at the next conference next year, he invite Yogi Berra to speak. Yogi Berra is a great Yankee. I know you went to his museum.
No,
you didn't go?
No, but I should go.
Yogi's 89 years old now, and he's in the Hall of Fame. He's a wonderful little man, and he would come to this conference, and Yogi would speak for a half hour, and you'd look, and you'd wonder, what the hell is he talking about? And you'd say to Michael, why did you bring him here? It makes no sense. But then you would go home, and maybe a week later, maybe a month later, you'd jump up and say, yes, he said that. And you'd laugh and jump up and down, because it always kicks in late. What Yogi says, he speaks in aphorism, and everything is the total truth. Everything is 100% truthful. But it always kicks in late. You know, he said it's deja vu all over again. You got to think about that, right? But Yogi also said, nobody goes to that restaurant anymore. It's too crowded. You got to think about that. I was at a dinner with Yogi once. I was the MC of a big sports dinner in New York, and Joe Garagiola, his former friend growing up in St. Louis, was sitting here, and Yogi was sitting here. And Joe Garagiola said to Yogi, what time is it? And Yogi said, do you mean now? Yogi was once on a PBS show, and the subject was philosophy of life, and they asked him his philosophy, and he said, simple, when you get to a fork in the road, take it. But my favorite Yogi Berra story is he was a friend, Gil McDougall, a teammate on a great Yankee team, went over to him one day and said, Yogi, did you hear the news? What? He said, Yogi, today in Dublin, Ireland, they elected a Jewish mayor. In Dublin, Ireland, they elected a Jewish mayor. Yogi looked up and said, only in America. Thank you, Carlos Slim.